Welcome to the Draft Stack. Back with Kyle and Jordan. What's going on, Jordan? You doing all right, man?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I lost you for just a second, but I'm back. I think with it started, it kind of had a little glitch. But yeah, I'm doing great. Super excited about Darryn Peterson. Like, this is going to be so much fun.
It will be. So we've got. I wanted to start with this segment and something we're going to try, guys. So I'm introducing it to Jordan, so you guys bear with us a little bit. So we're gonna do a little head-to-head here. Darryn Peterson and the argument for the number one pick. This is just something we're trying. You hear me out? I'd love to hear Jordan. This is what I have in my notes. So AJ obviously is a wing. Peterson is obviously a guard. Here's AJ's case. He has the size advantage. This is some of the talking points that I think people will make. Size advantage, can do some of the same things scoring wise, but from a lunch tolerance vantage point, also has a little bit more defensive versatility as well. Peterson's case, three-level scorer. He literally is a three-level scorer. Is an athlete among athletes, and has proven himself to take on really tough competition. He plays a interesting kind of game with his size, and is natural with ball handling and playmaking aspects. So, yeah. Your thoughts on what would make
just head to head?
Head to head.
So actually, I would say, even though he's the wing, I think AJ is the better playmaker out of the two forerunners. So that's something that I think is an area of growth for Peterson. I don't think he has bad vision. I don't think that he's, I don't think he's out of it right, where he can't do it. But it's kind of like Flag and Harper, actually. Really good comparison there. Mm-hmm. Flag is a better passer than Harper, but that's a growth area for Harper. I don't think that's a Harper will never get there.
Right.
Also, looking at his dad grew as a playmaker his whole career. So, I think that works for Harper. So, I mean, obviously Peterson doesn't have, a dad who played with Michael Jordan, but, he does have the ability to grow into being a playmaker a little bit more. But that's kind of why my comps for him are all people who started out not being good playmakers, but I think have grown in that area.
Yeah.
So I think that's fair. Probably a good way to segue into so we'll just start. He's a 6'5" wing guard, going to Kansas this year. His Cerebro numbers per 36 per 40 are insane. 31 points on 47-ish shooting, 47, 30, 81 shooting. He averaged total rebounds, 9 rebounds per 40, which is insane. Most of those are defensive. He averaged 4.5 assists, but 3.1 turnovers. He averaged 3.9 steals. And then as a guard, pure guard, 2.2 blocks per 30.
And he can get out there.
Now,
he can definitely get out.
Here's the bad news. Here's the bad news about his defense. 3.8 fouls per 40. So, kind of high amount of fouls. So, that being said, he is the slasher of slash. In fact, here, let me just read what I have written down about his athletic ability for getting to the rim. He's incredible getting to the rim. Yes. There's never everybody talked about last year how Harper was so good at getting to the rim because of his footwork and his angles and all this stuff. So Peterson does the footwork and the angles, but he's also just faster than you. Like it's bananas. So as far as comps for him go, everybody wants to use Kobe. Everyone wants to use SGA. Let's pump the brakes on doing Hall of Famers and MVPs as comps before any games are played. Like, let's pump the brakes a little bit. That being said, I'm pumping the brakes and I'm saying his comp is Anthony Edwards, and that's pumping the brakes. So
I guess we're not.
He's a very good prospect.
I have veins of Devin Booker and Donovan Mitchell as my.
Yes. So like if Donovan Mitchell was actually 2 guard sized and not point guard sized, yeah, like that's a great comp. My other comp for him, like just to explain how fast he is he's De'Aaron Fox, but he's 6'5",
which is crazy.
Like,
and when you watch him,
he's so fast.
There's an elegance to his game,
and not just in a straight line. It's side to side. Yes, up and down, like graceful. That he is an athlete's athlete.
Agreed.
So I said last week that Darryn Peterson is the second most functional athlete that I've ever scouted. I did not clarify who was first. It's Amin Thompson was first for me. Yeah, Peterson's just incredible when it comes to athletic ability. So on Draft Stack, he's number 2. He's also number 2 on my board.
Which is fair.
He is actually, to me, the one that I see the most people upset at you not having number 1. Like, so he to me definitely has the die-hardiest of fans so far on draft Twitter, at least, for sure.
And so
the most about not having him number 1.
I mean, to me, the scoring versatility from him is tough. I think the improvement is maybe some more shot selection, because he does take some tough shots occasionally off the dribble, but he makes it look easy, and so they go down. His efficiency is not bad either.
I also don't love his catch and shoot mechanics.
I had that down as a note. Is not the best at catch and shoot. Could raise his overall efficiency if he's able to nail that down.
This is what I have. I'm still stuck on his athleticism. He can accelerate like Fox, but he decelerates like Luka,
which is an intriguing combination.
I've never seen someone be able to start so fast and stop so fast in the same body. You're almost always only good at one of those, and it's crazy, dude. He's definitely going to have the best highlights out of the 3, whether or not he's going to reach the heights and the consistency of the other 2 guys.
Right.
I don't know. I don't think either AJ or Darryn will be as consistent as Boozer, because consistency is kind of one of the selling points of Boozer. But that being said, he just moves. It is. I don't even know how to, like, if you've not watched Darryn Peterson, I don't know what you're doing. Watch him. Like, this is the pure, like, stats versus eye test. He has the eye test. Like,
and maybe I'm a little ahead here. This actually leads to the conversation of ceiling and floor. Maybe we could finish a different way here. I have in notes possibly all-star level primary scoring guard, a 3-level scorer. The floor is a high volume, scorer who, defends but doesn't pass as much. And his improvement is just refining the decision making as a playmaker. But to be honest, neither of those things are bad from his projection. Not everybody is going to be right out of the draft, right? Like, but can be high level contributors for the team they get drafted to. So, if he reaches all-star level status, then we projected correctly. If his floor is just a guy who's maybe, if I had to say, and maybe somebody will be mad at me for saying this, so don't shoot me, folks. If he is healthy, actualized potential Zach LaVine, then as the floor, that's the floor, folks. I'm not saying that is that's his floor. If he's that, then you're like, oh, well, that's not bad. He's what you would expect from a guard with his size, his ability to put the ball on the floor and to get to the basket, the ability to make and take tough shots. The other side of that is Devin Booker or Donovan Mitchell, which if he's on that, whatever team gets him is going to get instant and immediate impact, because I think both players were impactful in their first years, as a comparison here. So what say you, though? I that's what I think.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
And I think the other thing that's so I go back and forth with it. I think he probably has the highest potential out of the three. I also kind of wonder if he might have the hardest path to reaching his potential.
I think so.
Just because his potential is so much higher than the other twos. So I think the likelihood right now is that he doesn't quite reach as high as Cam does, just because I think Cam, I have no worries about Cam. I do have some worries about Peterson with the shooting, but I think with his athletic ability, the way that he moves, the way that, I think probably this would be better if I didn't watch Amin Thompson get almost completely schemed out of a game on offense yesterday. But that was also the Thunder, and also the Rockets don't have a guard right now. So, maybe that, there were some issues in that game surrounding Amin. It's not just Amin that's the problem there, but he's going to have to learn to shoot it better if he wants to if he wants to make it in the league, or he's going to have to learn to get a mid-range bag a little bit more than he has. I think both of those are possible for him. I also he does get streaky, and he's I'm saying I'm worried about his shooting. His free throw shooting is phenomenal. It's 81%, almost 82%. That's phenomenal. So I'm not sure, and he's going to draw a ton of free throws.
Yeah, he loves
his
contact.
Style of play and his athleticism.
Yeah.
So maybe the shooting, even if it doesn't develop, maybe it doesn't matter, just because he does have the mid range and the free throw touch.
Right.
That it won't matter as much. So there is definitely downside with him, but there's just such immense upside. I mean, there is a reason the name Kobe is being thrown around about him.
Now, do I want people to do that?
Which is crazy.
I would prefer them not do that.
No, it's not fair. It's not fair. I also see a lot of SGA just because they're going to get their shots from the same areas. But to me, SGA is like, he is preternaturally balanced. SGA is and flexible.
Mm-hmm.
Peterson is much more just like strong and fast. So they do get their shots from the same areas. It's just very differently how they get their shots.
Agreed. And granted, we're talking about the MVP, Finals MVP here. So there's going to be some
yes
drastic differences in how they get to that. If he actualizes that potential, that'd be insane. But we're not trying to put that type of expectation on his game so that he can play his own game. I
mean, it's going to be very hard for me to see these three not being the top three unless
someone has some
major flaws. Yeah, I mean, and they're going to have a very down year. One of them is going to have a very down year.
I agree.
And somebody else is going to have an amazing year. Like it's not going to be just one of the, like, I mean, even someone having an exceptional year, these guys, unless they have a major down year, it's going to be very hard to see them not.
And I agree with that. I mean,
amazing. I mean, we're saying this before Darryn plays his first game is tonight, isn't it? First televised game is tonight.
I believe it is
tomorrow. So, you know, we've seen the other two guys play, and they were awesome. You know, spoiler alert. But man, Peterson he does things on the court that I've not seen other players be able to do in high school.
Right. Yeah, I saw. I watched the tape. Mm-hmm.
You know, there's when you're watching a real prospect for the first time.
Yeah.
So I remember the first actual real high school prospect that I watched was Daniel Gafford. I was a youth pastor in Hope, Arkansas, and El Dorado came to play Hope. And the way that Daniel Gafford warmed up was against his teammates. He would stand under the rim and he would block their 3-point shots. Because he was that much more athletic than everybody else on the floor. Yeah. Okay. Darryn Peterson has that separation when he's playing other 5-star prospects. Like that's the thing that's so crazy is he does that against other insanely good competition. Like, you know, that was Daniel Gafford against Hope, Arkansas. Spoiler alert, Hope, Arkansas wasn't very good. Like this is Darryn Peterson playing against actual high-level competition and looking that much more athletic than them. And so this is what's wild for me is just the amount of separation. It's very much like watching Zion, but Zion played in a very weak high school environment.
And it was still impressive in college.
You know, it was still incredible. And so everybody, you know, the reason that Zion was not considered the number one guy coming into that year was everybody said, oh, he doesn't do it against hard enough competition. Peterson's playing the hard competition. And he looks like Zion.
Yeah.
As far as like that much more athletic above his peers.
Agreed.
So it's kind of wild.
Here are my question marks. Mm-hmm. Because of his game, because of his size, and maybe this is me sounding like an old NBA fan here. Because of his size and the way he plays, is he going to lean, to your point, Anthony Edwards, more of a combo guard than a point guard, right? Like, is there going to be more utilization of him as a off guard, not so much not that he won't have the ball in his hands, but that he won't be slated as a point guard, just a 2 guard with, I'll give an instance. Again, and I'm disclaimer, I'm not comparing these two. I'm just talking about usage. D-Wade wasn't a point guard except for the first year with Van Gundy, but was primary ball handler and made decisions with the ball. So I'm thinking about size. I'm thinking about the way they get to the basket, some of those things. Is he going to be more slated towards that direction, or are we looking at him towards what most people have slated SGA? And not, I'm talking about usage. I'm going to disclaim that again so that people don't throw darts at us. Usage-wise, will he be slated more as a combo guard more than a primary point guard, if that makes sense?
Well, I would actually argue that SGA is kind of a combo guard anyway. So, and really, they get the luxury of having J-Dub also kind of being a combo guard, but in a forward size body. Right. So they play 2 combo guards is what, you know, is kind of how the Thunder do it. So I would say that if you're going to have enough ball handling around him and enough secondary creation around him, right, then yeah, he can be your primary ball handler. But I think the more likely scenario is that he is your Devin Booker, who
Got
is
it.
still going to have a very high usage, but you probably wouldn't call him the point guard, or even a Donovan Mitchell. Again, very high usage, but not necessarily the point guard.
Got it. And that speaks to his scoring, right? Like the focus on scoring. Not that
Yes, and also his lack of
natural playmaking.
I don't think he's a very willing playmaker. Every
with that.
every pass he makes is because the defense has collapsed on him, not
team.
because he created
a
yes, it's because of a double team. It's not because he sees a teammate open and the teammates made a good cut or anything. It's, there's a double team, so I guess I need to pass. And so I don't see point guard with him. I do see, a good, I don't think he's going to stay this turnover prone. I think he's really going to figure out this ability because to me, I do think that his what is the word I'm looking for? His problem solving. I think you can see that even during games, it progresses. He'll see a coverage and then he'll be like, okay, I can figure out this coverage in a little. So I don't think he's just going to be like someone who's just like, okay, I am only going to be a black hole. I don't see that in his future.
No, I don't think so either. I agree.
But I don't think that we're ever going to see him be a point guard, which is fine. And that's MJ wasn't a point guard. MJ wasn't a point guard. MJ's still the GOAT, or at least in the GOAT conversations. If you want to, you want to argue LeBron, or if you want to be right and say Kareem. But MJ is still no. There's absolutely no way to say MJ is not a top 2 or 3 player in NBA history. He wasn't a point guard. LeBron is not a point guard. He's a point forward, but he's not a point guard. He plays some point guard now that he's gotten older. Not everybody is going to be a point guard. I don't think he's a point guard. And that is fine.
Anybody who sound bites, we're not saying that Darryn Peterson is any of these players. We're just stating.
No. I'm just stating, I'm just stating that he's not a point guard. And that doesn't mean he's terrible to say he's not a point guard.
Right. And this is a little bit of a projection. And that's kind of what we do. There are going to, and I can guarantee it, Jordan, I'm calling it like you called Cooper being, running primary playmaking, at duty until Kyrie comes back. Or just at least them experimenting with it to see how well.
I mean, he's starting tonight. So he's starting at point guard tonight.
And so there are going to be what I call ridiculous draft questions leading up towards March. Oh, is he a point guard? Oh, is he a 2 guard? Is he a combo guard? His feel is great, but there's going to be all these question marks that don't really need to be question marks about his game because they want him to be a point guard. But he's a combo guard, which here's a disclaimer. I am talking about who I believe is a Hall of Famer. Maybe there are some people who don't. Russell Westbrook is a combo guard
questions.
Who played point guard. The force in which he played with, his vision, the speed, his ability. He was a combo.
I think he slowly became a point guard.
Correct.
He started as a combo guard, but I think by the peak of his career he was a point guard. Right,
exactly. So
and that's totally a possibility for Peterson. I think. Selfishly, I want Bill Self. That's weird. Selfishly, I want Bill Self to play him at point guard as much as possible. Because if he can learn how to be a point guard, he's the number 1 prospect in this class. Like
immediately. And that's not even knocking the other two. We've talked about this before.
No, that's not. It's just like the value of his physical attributes. If you can unlock making him an actual point guard who can really run an offense, not just react to a defense. Right. There's a difference.
There is a difference.
If he can actually run an offense, that dude, it's going to be very hard to see him as not a Hall of Fame.
Now, Jordan, for our listeners, let's pause for 2 seconds, and I would love for us to unpack this. What is the difference between a guard who can run an offense and a guard who reacts to a defense as the point guard? There is a difference between those kinds of guards. I'd love for you to expound on that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Even to me, we'll talk about people that are considered pure point guards. When Darryn Fox came in, he reacted to a defense. He has learned to be a point guard. Luka Doncic creates opportunities for teammates before the teammates even know that they're being created for. Nikola Jokic is a center. Nikola Jokic is a center, but he creates the opportunities for the teammates. Chris Paul creates the opportunities for the teammates.
Agreed.
That was the difference with Westbrook at the beginning reacted to the defense. By his peak,
he was dictating.
He was not just he was dictating what the offense did, and he made the defense bend to him and then pass the ball.
Right.
That's the difference to me between a point guard and a combo guard. And right now he's a combo guard. But if he can learn to be a point guard,
which is okay,
it's totally fine. Because here's the thing. Again, I said it. To me, MJ never learned to do that. Partially because he never had to. Because, he had Pippen, and then later on he also had Harper and Kukoc, who could just do that part for him. So he just focused on the things that they didn't do. I think if he had never gotten Pippen as a teammate, I think MJ would have become a point guard and would have figured out how to do that. But it was just never needed because he had teammates that could do that. So he focused on what his teammates couldn't do. And so that's another thing with him, is what does your team build around you?
Yeah. Agreed.
Because if Luka had stayed at forward, and the Mavs not given him the keys after the first, 5 or 6 games, and then finally said, okay, Dennis Smith, you're not the guard anymore. We're going to build around Luka as the forward. If they had not done that, then I think we have a very different conversation about who Luka is. I think Luka's still great. I think he's still a superstar. He's leading the league in scoring, but I don't think he's also doing, 9 assists while leading the league in scoring.
Right. Agreed.
And so a lot of this is team concept. And that's why I really think he's going to thrive as a combo guard no matter what. So that's why I want Self to try him at point guard.
And if they are one, I think that the team they have around him may facilitate him being the one.
He may have to anyway. He may have to anyway.
Right. And so one of the biggest things for me with him is his pacing. And I'm sure anybody who's listened to the pod before, I love talking defense. And my biggest thing with players is how much pace they have or do not have. Darryn does not struggle for pace at all. Just he moves so efficiently with his movements. It does not seem like he's moving that fast until a direct move is made. So I was watching some
until it's it's already done.
Right. He hesied this guy going the other direction. I don't even think the guy knew he was going to go that direction. But it's pace.
He's so fast, he tricks offensive players on defense. He tricks them into thinking he's been beaten. And then he's like, and now I got your ball. He's like, oh no, you broke my ankles. I'm just kidding. The ball is mine now.
He's up the court.
It's crazy, dude.
He's got all the potential in the world. I'm excited to see what the ceiling is. I'm excited to see what his season plays out like. I am hoping, praying for him to be healthy, all of the prospects. 1 to 6 year stay healthy throughout the year. So that makes our job a little bit more interesting in calling who's going top 10,
Yes.
top 15, top 20. So this is a little bit of it's a little bit of a peak here. So I have Boozer notes already. You and I both prep weeks in advance. And
yes,
there's some arguments here. We're not talking full, we're not doing a full other pod on Boozer right now. But I just wanted to throw this out here. I wanted to hear your thoughts on the notes I have. All right, I have him down here as modern forward / center hub. His IQ is what's going to shine the most. He is elite at pick and pop. Definitely good in the short roll. And can hit the open shooter and take the mid-range jumper for himself. Those are some of the highlights. That's
this
not
is not surprising. Yeah, this is not surprising with who his dad is, but he might be the best high school screen setter I've ever watched. Again, not surprising with who his dad is, because I think his dad basically told him, like, you're disowned if you don't learn how to do this. But the dude is so good at setting screens. Like, there were times where he dominated high school games without touching the ball because of screen setting alone. So
and he can get offense from the high post. He can get offense to stretch the floor. Can be defensively locked in. So these are my comps. I don't love doing these, but this is where it's at. I have him shades of Paul Gasol and maybe a little more athletic Chris Bosh.
He's shorter than both of those guys.
Right.
And he's thicker than Bosh for sure.
Right.
Bosh was a skinny dude. That being said, the just versatile skill set of those guys, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm seeing an app when we actually do our Bouger deep dive. I'm going to talk about some of the absolutely crazy comps that I've seen and why they make sense. Because he's such a good prospect. So my main comp that I've been using for him right now has been because again, I'm trying not to use Hall of Famers, so it's very difficult with him. Because he does so many things at a high level.
Yes, he does.
And so my main comp I've been using for him is Paolo.
I like that. Yep. Yeah, I agree.
And very similar, also going to Duke, so that helps with the comp there. But where he can affect the ball, the game on and off ball. But hot take, I think he's already a better shooter than Paolo. So that would be kind of impressive if you're getting Paolo who can really consistently shoot.
So correct me if I'm wrong. I think Boozer is probably the safest pick out of the three. That will.
Oh, yeah. Boozer to me has by far the highest floor.
Yeah. Yeah. Immediately. So that's really a conversation for our next pod about, we're talking about Boozer, obviously. And we just gave a little bit of a highlight on what we'll kind of cover on this next pod. Overall, it's just the polish of his game, his jumbo creator ability, and the type of, he's the type of player that teams tend to put their chips in a little bit around because he's so solid and fundamental. So, folks, we appreciate you guys for, watching, listening. This top three is just disgusting. To be honest, anybody who gets three are going to come away with a gem. I can't imagine that they fall out of the top three, barring, knocking on wood, any kind of complete fall off. Hoping that they have excellent seasons. Again, we're going to talk Boozer and his case for the top, for the number one pick. He does a lot of things at a high level, and so we're excited to break down the game for you guys, and we're looking forward to sharing some of our thoughts and some of the facts with you. Peace.
See ya.